My fellow Americans, in 2001, George Bush stated it would take 10 years to fight terrorism. Whether planned or pure irony, it was almost 10 years when bin Laden was supposedly killed by the Navy SEALs. The 10 years was shy by just 28 days. What troubled me in the President's speech Tuesday was his outlining of the operation, in specific details, with congratulatory overtones given to those involved in bin Laden's surmise. The President even went to lengths in stating he even had the flag the Navy SEAL team used during the operation, and all the Navy SEAL participants' names were on the flag. Now this is all hearsay. There is absolutely no video, no pictures, no witnesses of bin Laden's death. We have not seen the flag, not to mention there is no proof of his body was even dumped at sea. Several congressmen have stated publicly that they have and were shown photos of the dead Osama, which now some are saying these pictures turned out to be fakes. What I am driving at here is there is absolutely no proof or evidence that what the President said is true. In fact, in all honesty, there's even word Osama was unarmed. So why kill the man? Why not bring him back to the U.S. for trial and let us witness justice done? Talk about sending a message. This would have been the greatest message sent to all the world since the Nuremberg trials. It would have brought closure to the millions of Americans who were angered by the 9/11 attacks. This is left undone, yet we celebrate without true facts. Let me show you a book here that was given to me by a veteran of World War II and Korea. It is the history of World War II and is the Armed Services Memorial Edition. This book is actually signed by Douglas MacArthur, Dwight Eisenhower, Nimitz, and it actually has pictures in here. Let me show you of Eisenhower and Patton, and then it also has the Nazis surrendering to American armed forces, and this is loaded with pictures like that. This was given to me by a good man who served our country well. These are facts. Now let me say to you, the American government lied to the American Indians for many, many years. Bill Clinton lied about a relationship in the White House. But dishonesty from politicians is nothing new for Americans. The real question is whether we are lying to ourselves when we call this country the land of the free. The President made constant remarks about the example of the military during his speech. The illusion was the military complex we are now using around the world to coddle power and prove power. The President was upbeat and optimistic while talking about the military, but he was also showing shades of authoritarianism while speaking. The illusion of power was visible when he made remarks like, "Put it on my desk and I will sign it." And one troubling remark was the implication to give him more power in order to make the executive branch more lean and efficient. This style of presentation lends psychological overtones of what kind of power the President is seeking, and to a degree he does now indeed have this authoritarian power. This was after signing the National Defense Authorization Act, which was signed on December 31st, 2011. And this allows for the indefinite detention of citizens of the United States. Let me explain to you. The President has claimed, as George Bush did before him, the right to order the killing of any citizen considered a terrorist or an abettor of terrorism. Last year he approved the killing of a U.S. citizen, Anwar al-Awlaki, and another citizen under the claimed inherent authority. Last month, administration officials affirmed the power, that stating that the President indeed does have the power to order the assassination of any citizen whom he considered allied with terrorists. Under the law signed last month, terrorism of suspects are to be held by the military, and the President has the authority to indefinitely detain citizens accused of terrorism. While the administration claims that the provision only codified existing law, experts widely contest this view, and the administration has opposed efforts to challenge such authority in federal courts. the government continues to claim the right to strip citizens of legal protections based on the sole discretion of their own perfect will. And in a signing statement with the Defense Authorization Bill, Obama said he does not intend to use this power to indefinitely imprison citizens. Yet he still accepted the power. An authoritarian nation is defined not just by the use of authoritarian powers, but by the ability to use them when they will. If a president can take away your freedom or your life on his own authority, all rights have become a little more than discretionary, granted by the subject of the will of those involved. Since 9/11, we have created the very government our forefathers feared, a government with sweeping and largely unchecked powers, resting on the hope that they will be used wisely. Now these are the facts, not hearsay. The NDAA was publicized far before its indoctrination, and it is now law, as I said, as December 31st, 2011. The controversy shrouded in the National Defense Authorization Act is that it is visualized as a means of limiting civil rights and freedoms, eliminating the ethos of conscience of all Americans who are unified in the confidence there would not be a government control over American citizens, and that we all would have the same common purpose of trust, with the faith and belief we all have the right to live a life without government interference. Through this implication, the NDAA is striking a blow against the Constitution of the United States and the citizens thereof. The power is no longer in the hands of the common citizens through elected officials, but the power is within the government itself to overrule and override at its will. The NDAA has ushered in a new period of time we are now living in. Though the National Defense Authorization Act may be used responsibly with the current administration, the fact remains it is now an open door of power for the future to impose dictatorial democratic rule by those who just may deride American freedom and civil liberties. Now these are the facts, and anyone can look up the documentation and read the NDAA bill, which is law today. 2012 will prove to be an incredible year, not only here in the United States, but the entire world. It is important for us to stay focused on the facts we know personally as true, that can or will affect our Constitution and freedoms we hold sacred. Also, we should keep a close eye on the continual implications of laws and legislations that are intended to limit individual freedoms and power. Jack Van Impe and John Hagee, two well-known televangelists, have made no apologies in portraying the president when he was first elected as the Antichrist and the harbinger of the New World Order by 2012. I made it clear to both of them on November 7, 2010, that we as a people elected President Obama, and as our president, we should give him a chance to prove himself worthy of the office. If we do not like what the president is doing in our country, then we have the option to cast a vote for someone different in the next election, which of course is this year, 2012. I do respect the President of the United States, but today I'm a bit more cautious, especially after the 2012 State of the Union address. The authoritarian overtones practiced in which individual freedom is held as completely subordinate to the power or authority of the executive branch of government has become a great concern of mine, and I thought it worthy to pass on to my fellow citizens to consider and even act upon. May America continue to be free through your love and patriotism of this country. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.